My name is Amy Cooper, and I'll be working with you today. There's just a few things I want to discuss before we get into our session. First, I want to explain to you the limits of the confidentiality. Basically, everything we discuss will be confidential, but there are a few exceptions. So if you express that you are thinking about harming yourself or harming others, that is something that I will have to report. Also, if there is any sexual, physical abuse, or neglect of a minor, a vulnerable adult, or an elder, that is also something I would have to report to the authorities. If there was ever an issue of a subpoena coming up, I will do everything in my power to protect your privacy, but it is a situation where I would have to give over my files to the courts should they subpoena them.
Okay.
And then if there is a threat to the life of the President of the United States that is deemed credible, that is also something I will report.
Okay.
All right, so why don't you go ahead and tell me what brings you here today?
I've just been feeling kind of down. I've been pretty lethargic. I'm tired all the time. I mean, all the time. I feel so much lack of energy that I just don't even want to get up in the mornings. I'm sad. I'm down all the time. I miss my wife. She's just never home.
Where is she?
She's always working. She has a job, and that keeps her pretty busy. I love my kids. I've been a stay-at-home dad for a while now, and but I just feel so worthless and so useless. With this position as a stay-at-home dad, I just feel like there's just so much more I could be doing. And I don't know.
What would you like to be doing?
I would like to be working. I would like to be the provider for my kids and my wife, so she won't have to work as many hours as she does.
And how many hours is she working?
10 to 12 hours weekly.
Weekly or daily?
Daily. Daily.
Monday through Friday?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me how long this has been going on?
For about 2 years now.
2 years.
Yes.
And so what brought you in today?
I just needed someone to talk to for one thing, to release and get this off my chest. And I'm just feeling so bad. I want to discuss this with someone. I don't want it to get worse, this feeling that I'm feeling. And I was hoping you could help me.
Absolutely. Have you done any research about your problems on the internet or in the
No, I
literature?
haven't. No.
And how old were you when these problems started?
How old?
2 years ago? 33?
Yes.
And did you notice them or did someone point them out to you?
This is what I'm feeling. I don't know. My wife seems to, she does suspect something. She sees me being pretty tired all the time. I don't talk as much as I used to. Yeah, I think she's noticing something.
And how often do you feel you're experiencing these problems?
Oh, all the time now. It's getting really bad.
And it's pretty constant throughout
Yes,
the day?
it is.
And what are things that you normally would have done but are unable to do because of this constant problem?
Well, I used to work out. I used to hang out with my boys, and I used to work. I felt like the provider for my family. I was very active. Now I'm just not. Mainly because I don't have the time anymore, but now I don't even have the desire. Yeah.
And is there anything that you're able to do but is perhaps more difficult than it used to be?
Everything basically. I can't have a schedule for just me anymore. It's about my kids and my wife, and she's working all the time, and someone has to be there to get my kids going in school in the morning and be there for them when they get back, and there I have a stay-at-home child as well, a baby.
How old are your other children?
1, 3, and 4.
since your problems started, have you had any periods where you were free of symptoms or feeling better?
I don't know. It's just, I couldn't even tell you. When that may have happened, I don't know.
So perhaps some brighter days, but no significant amount of time.
Right, yeah.
Are there times when your problems get worse, or situations that make them worse?
I don't know. Not necessarily. No.
It's just day to day.
It's just, yeah, it is.
Is there anything that makes your problems better? Situations that make things seem brighter?
Well, sometimes, I play with my kids. That brings me, that gives me a little upbeat. But, that's about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So life has been pretty much all about the kids?
Yeah, it has been.
So what parts of your life have been affected by your problems? I'm just going to list off a few. You tell me if they apply. Any financial problems?
Oh, yes.
Work problems?
Yes, I'm not working. Yeah.
Okay. Romantic relationships?
Yeah, that's kind of,
strained.
yeah, it is strained, yes.
Okay, what about legal trouble?
No.
Family relationships?
Well,
Even outside the immediate family?
I don't see much of my family. We talk occasionally on phone, but as far as visiting each other, we just never have been that
Okay.
close, so, yeah.
Okay. What about friendships?
I have a couple of friends, but I don't see them too often anymore.
Okay. And you had already mentioned that some of the
Right.
daily activities, working out things,
Yes.
that's diminished.
Mhm.
Okay. Have you sought any treatment for this so far?
No, I haven't.
So are you currently having any thoughts of harming or killing yourself?
Not yet, no. I haven't got to that point.
Okay. Has there ever been a time when you were suicidal?
I can say no. No.
Okay. And what about thoughts to hurt or harm, potentially kill someone else?
No, I have not.
Has there ever been a time where you thought of harming others? So you said that your energy level has been fairly low. I'd like you to tell me just within the last month, how has it been? I'm going to give you a couple options. Do you feel that you've had sufficient energy all day, sufficient energy the first half of the day, but lower in the second half? You're tired all day long, or you have energy in the second half of the day, but not in the first?
I used to be a little bit more, I used to have a little energy during the day, but now I find myself sleeping through my child's cries, and that's starting to bother me. I don't understand what that's about. Now I feel like I'm always tired. I'm always restless. I'm always low energy, yeah.
Okay. So how has your sleep been then in the last month?
It's on and off. It's up and down. Sometimes I can sleep okay, and then other times I'm tossing and turning. I don't get enough rest. And sometimes I can sleep for hours.
Okay.
And
What do you mean by hours?
I mean, like I say, when I don't hear my child's cry, I can sleep, put her down for a nap, and then sleep for maybe 5 hours straight.
Okay. And this is in the middle of the day?
Yes, it is.
And so how many hours would you say you're getting of sleep each night?
I couldn't tell you I couldn't give you a number. I can say that I'm up and down sometimes, and sometimes I can sleep for 2 hours and I'm up, and sometimes I can sleep through the night. It just varies.
So when you wake, do you feel rested?
Sometimes.
Do you have any nightmares, disturbing dreams?
No.
Do you feel you have trouble falling asleep sometimes?
No, I don't. I can fall asleep, but sometimes I wake up in a sweat, and I don't know what that's about. And that worries me as well.
Do you ever wake up in the morning earlier than you would like to?
No.
No?
I wake up with my kids going to school. That's a regular routine for me.
Have you used any kind of treatment for sleep?
I have had over-the-counter nighttime cold medicines, Tylenol PM, those type of things.
And how often do you find yourself napping?
I don't know. It's becoming more frequently though.
How many times a week would you say?
I'd say 3, 4.
And you said a nap can last up to 5 hours?
Yes, yes.
What's usually the average time?
It'll be maybe 2. I mean, I sleep with my daughter. I wake up with her, and she sleeps about 2 hours, and yeah.
Okay, and what about when you're sleeping in the evening? What are your sleeping arrangements with your partner?
You're talking about when my wife gets home.
Mm-hmm.
We lay down pretty early. She has to get up in the morning, so she may lay down around 10 o'clock. I may come around 11:30. Yeah.
So in your life right now, I'm going to give you a list here, and I want you to tell me things that are stressors for you, so things that are causing you undue stress. Financial concerns?
Yes.
Housing?
Yes.
Your romantic relationship?
Yes.
Family relationship?
Not so much.
Friendships?
Yes.
Occupational?
Yes.
What about educational?
No, not so much.
Do you feel loneliness?
Yes, I do.
And legal problems?
No legal problems.
Any other areas of stress in your life currently?
No, I just feel worthless. I feel like I could be doing a lot more to help my family. I feel I hate myself, and sometimes I do want to leave here. I must admit that I do sometimes want to leave here.
And by leave here, do you mean leave this place, or leave the state, leave the earth?
Leave the earth.
Okay.
I didn't want to tell you that because I just I felt that was private, but I just decided I need to get that out and get that off my chest.
Absolutely. This is a safe place to do that.
Okay.
All right, so in the last month then, has there been a time where you've been feeling depressed or down most of the day, nearly every day?
Yes.
And what was that like?
It's a terrible feeling.
How long did it last?
Half of the day.
Is there anything that helps pull you out of that feeling?
Like I say, sometimes just, playing with my kids, or, maybe one of my buddies will call me up, start talking about the football game or something to get my mind off of things, but that's about it.
In the last month, have you lost interest in things that you usually enjoy?
Oh, yes, I have.
And is it nearly every day?
It's nearly every day.
And how long does this loss of interest last? Just say part of the day, all day?
Most of the day.
Most of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Has there ever been a period of time where you were feeling so happy or excited that other people thought you were not your normal self?
No.
Okay. Anytime you were so happy or excited it got you into trouble?
No.
Do you ever feel you receive special messages from the TV, radio, newspaper?
Oh, no, no.
What about anyone going out of their way to give you a hard time?
No, I don't think so.
Have you ever felt that you were especially important in some way, or that you had special powers doing things people couldn't do? Have you ever felt that you had committed a crime or done something terrible for which you deserve to be punished?
No, I don't.
Do you ever hear things that other people can't hear, such as noises, whispering,
No.
talking?
No.
Do you ever feel that you have a secret relationship with someone famous?
No, I don't.
Do you have visions that other people cannot see?
No.
Have you ever had a panic attack or suddenly felt frightened or anxious or developed a lot of physical symptoms?
I have. I'm having a little panic attack right now. I mean, my palms are sweaty and I'm pretty nervous sitting here with you, divulging all my information, but okay.
Okay, well, why don't we just take a minute?
Okay.
Go ahead, take just a deep breath.
Thank
And
you.
do one more. All right, you feel a little bit more grounded?
Yes, thank you.
You ready to continue?
Yes, I am.
Were you ever afraid of going out of the house alone, being in crowds, standing in a line, large groups of people?
Well, I don't feel afraid. I just don't feel that I wouldn't say that I'm worthy. I just don't feel that I'm a part of the normal society with the rush and bush and the jobs and the people having things to do and people being productive. I just I don't feel that way.
Is there anything you felt uncomfortable doing in front of people lately?
No.
Speaking? No.
No.
Are there other things you've been especially afraid of doing, such as flying, seeing blood, getting a shot, heights, animals? Have you ever been bothered by thoughts that didn't make any sense, kept coming back to you even when you tried not to think of them? Thoughts like of hurting someone, even though you don't really want to, or being contaminated by germs, things like that?
No.
Was there ever anything that you had to do over and over again that you could not resist doing?
No.
In the last 6 months, have you been particularly nervous or anxious?
Sometimes I say I get anxious. Just sometimes.
How frequently were you having panic attacks?
Not often. Maybe once or twice every 2 weeks. Yeah.
Have you ever had a time when you weighed much less than other people thought you should?
Yes, I have lost weight.
How much weight have you lost currently?
I say about 5 pounds, 7 pounds right now.
Has your appetite changed? at
Oh,
all?
yes, it has.
Decreased?
Yes, it has.
Has your eating ever been out of control?
No.
So sometimes in life, things happen to people that are extremely upsetting or traumatic. Things like being in a life-threatening situation, a major disaster, seeing a fire, being in part of a fire, being physically assaulted or raped, seeing another person killed or badly injured, several other horrible disasters. At any time during your life, have you experienced any of these?
No.
All right. I'd like to talk about your current medical history. Are you on any current medications?
No, I'm not.
Have you ever been on any psychiatric medications?
No.
Do you currently see a therapist or counselor?
No, I haven't. No, I'm not.
And have you ever had any past psychological treatment?
No.
Have you ever been hospitalized you ever had a partial psychiatric hospitalization? Have you ever had electroconvulsive therapy? Alright, I'm just gonna take now a little bit of your family history,
Okay.
social history. So if you could tell me about your parents, starting with your mother, is she currently living?
My mother is currently living.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 60.
And what does she do?
She's a retired school teacher.
And has your mother ever been treated for a psychiatric or drug and alcohol problem?
Not that I know.
And what about your father? Is he
My
living?
father's passed.
He's passed. And what age did he pass away?
Oh, I don't know. It's been so long now. I'll say maybe 62.
And what did he do prior to
He
that?
was a, I guess, refrigeration person. Fix things, a fixer-upper.
And was he ever treated with a psychiatric or drug and alcohol problem?
He had an alcohol problem, but he was never treated for it.
In your extended family now, has anyone suffered from mental illness or problems with alcohol or drugs? Aunts, uncles, grandparents, cousins?
No, not that I know of.
No. And do you have any siblings?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And how many do you have?
I have 2 brothers and 1 sister.
And what are their ages?
My oldest brother is 40. I have a younger brother that's 30. And my sister is younger. She's 26.
Okay. And are they all living?
Yes, they are.
And what does your older brother do?
Oh, what does he do? He's a soccer coach.
And what about his mental health history? Any diagnoses or
No.
alcohol, drug problems? Okay, and your younger brother?
He works as a, he's a gas station attendant.
And what about his mental health
His mental health is fine.
and alcohol, drug problems?
Well, he dips and dabs into this and that every now and then.
Ever been treated for anything?
No.
And your younger sister?
She just takes odd jobs. She just take what she can to survive.
Mental health history?
No mental health history.
Drug or alcohol abuse?
No.
So were your parents married?
Yes, they were.
Okay. Did they ever divorce?
No.
And how was your economic status growing up?
It was pretty hard.
Would you say you had a fairly low status?
I wouldn't say we were that, I would say middle, maybe middle class, yeah. We didn't suffer, you know. But,
Right.
we had hard times like everybody else, yeah.
Did you have many close friends growing up?
Not really.
Were you lonely?
No.
Did you want to have more friends?
No, I was fine.
How was your parents' disciplinary style?
My father was a disciplinarian. My mother was very passive and submissive.
And how well did you get along with your parents?
I got along with my mother well, my father not so.
And how do you get along with your mother now?
It's kind of distant. I don't see her often.
Do you think you were ever emotionally, sexually, physically abused or neglected?
No, I don't think so.
Were you ever bullied in school?
Yes.
And what ages?
Elementary.
When do you feel it stopped?
Freshman in high school.
How well do you get along with your siblings?
We're okay. We're not close, but we talk.
How frequently do you talk?
Maybe once or twice a month.
Okay. And what is your sexual orientation?
Heterosexual.
And do you feel that your sex life is satisfactory?
No.
What would you like to see out of your sex life?
I like to get more. I like for me and my wife to bond, get a little closer. We just haven't been doing much at all.
Do you feel that that's because of
The schedule.
the schedule? And is this your first marriage?
Yes.
And how would you describe your current relationship with your spouse?
I don't know. We kind of it's kind of tense now. We don't talk as much. Very little communication. She's tired too from work, and I understand that. I mean, it wouldn't be working on without.
So when you have arguments, what do you argue about?
Money. Her spending more time with our kids. Why can't we talk more? Why can't we have a sexual relationship? It's just so tense right now.
So your current relationship, you're living together with your spouse
Yes,
and
I am.
children. Do you affiliate with any religion?
No.
And what do you do to relax?
Sometimes I have a glass of wine. It relaxes me.
So how old were you when you first had a drink of alcohol?
Oh God, 15.
And when drinking the most, how many days a week did you drink?
I've never really been a heavy drinker, but may have went out with my boys twice, had a drink twice, but I went out.
How many drinks do you have? You go out?
I don't get plastered, but I get bubbly. Yeah.
So you're thinking 3 drinks?
4.
4. Have you ever passed out while drinking?
No.
Ever blacked out while drinking? Lost consciousness? Can't
No.
remember? Have you ever had any legal problems from
No.
drinking? Alright, I'm just gonna ask you a few more questions about drinking. How often do you have a drink containing alcohol presently or within the last month?
About twice.
Twice. How often do you have 6 or more drinks in one occasion?
Very rarely.
So less than monthly.
Yes.
And how often during the last year have you found you were not able to stop drinking once you started?
No, I don't have that problem.
Okay. Have you ever failed to do what was normally expected of you because of drinking?
No.
Have you ever needed to have a drink to get the day started?
No.
Have you ever felt any guilt or remorse after drinking?
No.
Have you ever been able to not remember what happened the previous evening because of drinking?
No.
Have you or someone else been injured because of your drinking? Has a relative, friend, doctor, or other healthcare professional suggested that you cut down your drinking?
No.
Alright, what about other substances? Have you ever used caffeine?
Yeah, I have a cup of coffee every now and then.
And what about tobacco?
Yeah, I smoke.
Currently?
Yes.
And what age did you start smoking?
Oh. 17.
Okay. And when you were the heaviest smoking, how many packs or cigarettes a day were you having?
2.
Packs?
Mm-hmm.
And how much currently?
Not much. I'd say maybe a pack now. Not 2 packs, maybe a pack and a half.
How about marijuana?
Yes, I've tried weed.
How old were you when you tried it?
I was young. I was 14, 15.
And how old were you when you last used?
25.
And at your heaviest use, how much were you using per
I
day?
didn't smoke that much. I didn't like the effect. Yeah.
And what about harder substances like cocaine, crack?
No.
Never?
No.
Any amphetamines,
No.
Adderall, Ritalin?
No.
And what about opiates?
No.
Heroin, morphine, sedatives, Valium, hallucinogens? Have you ever taken prescription medications that were not prescribed to you?
No.
Have you ever taken more than the amount prescribed?
I've never taken prescription